Good noodles. I just woke up. You guys enjoyed my show I made yesterday. Oh, you're pumping a lot of reels. Yeah, I have nothing to do. Except for watching movies and shows, but I don't like watching movies on my phone. If I had my Chromecast, I'd be binging shows and movies, obviously. But yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm serious, man. Do you have a trick of making the characters I want to make? No, man. That's just the gift that I have. I don't know how I do it. Because all these other authors, they also write dialogue too. Even better choice of words than my book. Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I read Lord of the Rings. The dialogue is even richer and better than your book. I get a different feeling. Lord of the Rings, it feels dry. Game of Thrones, it feels a bit more dry. Harry Potter feels a bit more dry. But your book, it feels like life has breathed into the page. How do you do that? I don't know, man. That's just how they get that. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. It's just the gift, right? Honestly, I'm not lying, guys. I write the dialogue and I read it in the areas I want to read. I don't know how to do it, man. It's a gift that I have. I don't know how to do it. That's why Xanus is a masterpiece. Grace fans not written right, yeah. But there are some fans who might like Lord of the Rings Game of Thrones better. If you do, I understand. I'm not gonna judge you for it, right? Everyone's entitled to opinion, no names, and yeah. Yeah, I don't get it, man. Like when I read your book, I just get this different feeling. It feels like life hasn't breathed on your page. How do you do that? And you're so simple of a writer too. All these authors use all these bigger, more complicated words like Jared Tolkien and Brandon Sanderson and then George R. R. Martin. Ivan's story is more simple when he describes stuff. When he it's dialogue. It feels like the characters jump on the page. I read these other books. I don't get that same feeling. How does Ivan do that? I don't know. It's a gift to have, guys. And I'm a simple writer too. I'm not a complicated writer, right? Because I'm not that great of a writer, I don't have great knowledge of the English literature. There's a reason why my book is pretty simple. My writing is more simple than these other authors who use all these big words, right? These big archaic words and everything. Yeah, big words. Some words I don't even understand. Yeah, obviously. Because Lord of the Rings is much richer than my book in terms of the descriptions of the world building and the speech. Ere the sun rises. Yeah, that's very deep. But yeah, my book, I don't use those. It's pretty amazing words too, but it's not like Lord of the Rings. Yeah, my book is still the more hand read because yeah, I have the heavenly gift. Jared Tolkien is a legend, but he doesn't have the heavenly gift, right? Don't hate him so now. Jared Tolkien doesn't have the heavenly gift, right? Yeah, Oh, yeah, you lying, man. It's your whole book entertaining. Well, what I showed you guys so far, were you continuously entertained? Yeah. Yeah, I was, Ivan. Yeah, my whole book is constantly entertaining when you read it. You're just turning the page for hours. You're hooked, man. I'm not lying, guys. It's crazy, I know. It's crazy. It's a masterpiece, man. You're just hooked reading the page for hours. Yeah, there you go. That's why it will be a public embarrassment, because no author entertained the reader the way Ivan did. Ivan, you're just on the edge of your seat reading it all day. You can binge my book for hours because I have the key to hooking you. Obviously, I just know how to hook you and control your mind and keep you turning the pages. I'm a genius, obviously. Yeah, I'm a genius. How do you do it? I don't know. It's just having to get that. I don't know how to do it, man. Yeah. Yeah, I even like when I read your book, I'm just so hooked. I want to know more. Yeah, I know how you feel about it. I read my book 5 times. When you read it, you're gonna keep reading it. You're gonna want to know more what happens. Yeah. Whereas Lord of the Rings, and Game of Thrones, and Harry Potter, you don't get that same feeling. Some sections you're a little bit hooked, but you're like, you have that thought. Oh, okay, I'm done. I don't feel like reading another chapter. I'll just read the rest tomorrow or something like that, right? My book is not like that. My book is a book where you're gonna want to. A lot of people were gonna binge my entire book in one day, especially the book nerds who love reading books. Yeah, and all these fans are gonna wish. Yeah, I wish Ivan's book was longer. I wish Ivan wrote like a 1,300 page book, like a bigger book. But obviously, yeah, if I wrote a 1,300 page book, you'd be binging this shit out of it in like 600 pages in like one day. You finish it in 2 days. Yeah, I showed you guys another thing too. That's an amazing start to your story. I was hooked reading that. Yeah, that's my start to their unique obviously. You're amazing storyteller. Yes, I am amazing storyteller. I have the gift on him, so yeah. Sarah. All right, now it's it comes in. We can't tell anybody this, especially Lithia. Show your tactics is the air. So, your dialogue holds perfectly. I know how do you do that? To give that right, guys, I don't know how to do it, man. That I can't tell you. I don't know the trick. Because I write dialogue the way these other authors write dialogue. Even though I write it a bit differently, obviously. Yeah, I don't get it, man. Like, these authors write dialogue too. You know, when I read their books, I get, like, it feels more dry. The characters don't jump out of the page that much. Jump out a little bit. Then your characters just come alive. I mean, how do you do that? I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know how to do it. Only I'm sitting, Sorry. Yeah. BJ thought I love your book. I know, BJ. It's a sick book. I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow I get my check. My check usually comes in on a Tuesday. Tomorrow I get like on my $103 check from the government. Yeah. Yeah. Why did you really think of being a full time author before? Yeah, I did. When I started my miscellaneous series, I talked about books. Remember my first series I did, guys? Like this is like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2019. I talked about books, and I went to my miscellaneous series. Yeah, I wanted to be a full time author. I talked about sitting on my yacht and just writing a book, obviously. I know whatever career path I want to do, Victoria Justice will support me. Whether it's being a movie star, writing books, being a pro hockey player, Victoria Justice will support me for whatever decision I want to do, obviously. But I already know what I want to do. I want to be a movie star with VJ. That's my dream, obviously. But if I want to write books full time, VJ would support me. Yeah, if you don't want to do movies, I support you. VJ would just do her music on the side. That's what she would do. Yeah, if you want to write books, you can write books. I don't want to write books. I prefer doing music. That's what VJ would tell me. If you want to be a full time author, you can be a full time author. I'll just do my music on the side. That's what people tell me, obviously. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind being a full time author, but it's not. It's more boring. It's not my dream. I know all the book owners are like, yeah, I'd love to see you write more books. Yeah, but like, writing, being a famous author is fun, but it's not as fun as being a movie star. That's my dream. That's why I'm not writing books when I'm a kid. Why? You can do both. Yeah, but I don't want to be stressed out like that. I'm making more money on my movies. My dream is being a movie star. It's not writing books. I only wrote Xanus, guys, because I had no choice. The gatekeepers locked the doors on me. That's why I wrote it. Otherwise, I never would have wrote Xanus. Right? Yeah, if you know why, yeah, I wrote Xanus because I had to find a way to make money for me and my wife. That's why I wrote lots of Xanus, because I knew the gatekeepers locked all the doors on me. That's why I wrote my amazing guys novel, lots of Xanus. As you guys read, your book is sick, I know. Because this is Lord of the Rings, though. I know, because Lord of the Rings, Masterpiece, man. Masterpiece, yeah, man. Spread Lord of the Rings. And better than Lord of the Rings. It's better than Lord of the Rings. Sarah? Yeah. Emma. But I have a sister. Are there really some fans who might like Lord of the Game of Elizabeth? Yeah, obviously. Because my book is a bit. Yeah, I think the book is more raw than these books. Yeah, because I did not have any help. I did not have any editors. 100% my DNA. But even though my book is a bit more raw, as you guys read, there's some stiffness in my dialogue. It's still the more entertaining reads, the better story. Some fans might say, I like Lord of the Game of Elizabeth. Yeah, if you like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Game of Elizabeth, I understand. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm not going to judge you for it, right? There we go. Sarah, I'm not going to judge you for it. Yeah. Why do you think George R. R. Martin can't finish his books? I have two answers. The first answer is he has writer's block. He can't come up with a good ending for his story because he's exhausted all his creativity into his other five books. It's tough for him to come up with an ending for his final two books. He has writer's block. That's my first answer. Or the second answer, there's three answers actually. The second answer, he's just lazy. he lost the will to work on it. He just wants to enjoy his millions he made off his IP. That's the second answer. He's lazy. He doesn't really want to work on it. He wants to just enjoy the millions he made off his IP. And the third reason, he's busy, he's preoccupied working on other stuff, and he doesn't have time to work on his book. But even if he's preoccupied, he can easily dedicate a good hour or 2 hours every day and work on his book, right? So those are my three answers. Yeah. There is a possibility that he might have writer's block, George R. R. Martin. That's why it's been taking him so long to finish Winds of Winter, obviously. My guess is he probably almost finished it, but he wasn't satisfied with his book. Yeah, this is not that good. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? He keeps going back and writing. He has writer's block, obviously. He's struggling to finish it. That's my first answer. The second answer is he's just lazy. He just wants to enjoy the millions he made off his IP. He's getting older now. Like, you see his interviews now, you can tell he's older than he was, like, when you see his videos like 8 years ago, right? You can tell he's getting older. And when you get older, the work becomes tougher for you. So that's my answer, obviously. I hope he finishes it, man. It'd be nice for him to finish the book, obviously. We'll see what happens. Obviously. I think he will finish Winds of Winter, but will he finish Dream of Springs? I don't know about that. He might get another author to maybe write it for him. I don't know. Because once you hit your 80s, you're done. George R. R. Martin's in his mid-70s. He's like 76 now. Once you hit your 80s, you're now older, and the work could be a bit tough on his body. Writing another, 1,500-page Dream of Spring book. So, I mean... But in 13 years, you should have completed your 2 books. In 13 years, George R. R. Martin should have completed Winds of Winter and Dream of Springs, but I think George R. R. Martin probably has writer's block. That's why he can't finish it. He's struggling to finish it. Or he's just lazy and he wants to. I highly doubt he's lazy. I think he has writer's block. Obviously. Because it took him 13 years. It's been 13 years the fans have been waiting. And he hasn't completed Winds of Winter yet. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, he must have writer's block, George R. R. Martin. That's my answer. I don't think it has to do with the laziness. Because in the last 13 years, George R. R. Martin did write another book. He wrote Fire and Blood. Fire and Blood, right? Another book. So he was able to complete that book, but he didn't complete Winds of Winter. I think it's not the laziness thing, and it has to do with writer's block. George R. Martin has writer's block. That's my answer, obviously. Yeah, I mean, it can't be the lazy thing because he did write another book, the Fire and Blood book, whatever it's called. He wrote another book in the last 13 years after the 5th book. So if he's able to write that book, obviously it's not the laziness thing. It has to do with writer's block. That's how I know it's probably most likely writer's block. That's my answer, guys. He has writer's block, George R. Martin. So maybe he might do the Robert Jordan thing with Brandon Sanderson. Robert Jordan, when he passed away, Brandon Sanderson completed his little time series, his last couple books. My guess is if George R. Martin can't complete the last 2 books by the time he passes away, he might hand it off to another author, maybe Brandon Sanderson, I don't know, to finish his series, obviously. But it won't look good on George R. R. Martin. Yeah, George R. R. Martin wrote the Game of Thrones and Masterpiece, but he didn't finish his books. And that's not good for his legacy, obviously. George R. R. Martin's still a legend. He wrote Game of Thrones. Very, very beloved, popular IP. The shows are amazing, amazing shows. And the fans love his books, obviously. But if he doesn't complete it, that's not good, obviously, for George R. R. Martin. He needs to complete his books. George, you gotta finish your book, man. I'm talking to you, don't you? You gotta finish your book. I'm trying, Ivan, man. I have writer's block. Yeah, I mean, that's why I always recommend all you aspiring authors stick to the 3-book rule when you write fantasy. Don't write any more than 3 books. Otherwise, you can get yourself in a mess situation like George R. R. Martin. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very tough to write like a 7-book series. Did you exhaust all your creativity into your 3? Yeah, obviously. I believe George R. R. Martin, he exhausted all his creativity in his 5 books. It's tough for him to come up with a good ending for his book. He has writer's block. That's probably my answer, guys. He has writer's block. Obviously. You're James, I know. That's most likely the answer I'm going to give you. Obviously. Yeah. Ivan, can you write a 1,500 page book? Yes, I can, but I'll never write a book that long. George R. R. Martin, I heard his Game of Thrones book are averaging like, they're even longer than Lord of the Rings. They're all like on average 12, 13, 1,400 page books. 1,200 page book. I think that's a bit too much. A 1,200 page book. I heard Stormlight's also very long too. They're like 1,000 page books. Me, if I wrote fantasy, I'd probably peak at that 700, 600, 700 book range per book for a book, obviously. Like Xanus is about an 800 page book, so it's not as long as Game of Thrones. You're gonna wish it was long. Yeah, I wish this book, even though it's 800 pages, it went by so fast because it's so entertaining. Yeah, because it's so entertaining, the 800 pages are gonna fly by, obviously. Now, Ivan's book was long, but it felt a bit short because it was so entertaining. I wish it was longer. Yeah, but it's not as long as Game of Thrones, guys. My book, about an 800 page book. It's not like 1,200 pages like George R. R. Martin's Game of Thrones, right? Game of Thrones, I heard, is long. It's even longer than Lord of the Rings, man. Much longer than Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Fellowship of the Ring is only 500, like 40 pages. Yeah. Long as the three books, Fellowship of the Ring, right? Lord of the Rings, yeah. 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 Sarah. So Xanus is number one. Yeah, Xanus will be number one on the charts. Number one best-selling fantasy novel ever. It won't beat out the Bible. The Bible sold like 2 billion copies. But Xanus won't beat that because it's the English-speaking world, obviously. There's only about 1.5 billion people English, 1.5 billion English-speaking people in the world. And the majority of those people are kids. Don't forget that. So you're looking at maybe 700 million copies, 800 million copies sold in my book. I make like I don't know, like $25 billion on my book around there, right? 22, $23 billion. I think that's probably on the amount of money I make off the book. Yeah. Geez, I was going to be off your book, by the way. I made like $23 billion. You made $23 off your book. But yeah, she's like, holy shit, you won the lottery, Ivan. I know, I won the lottery with that money. Yeah. Sarah? Like, there's no way Lord of the Rings would be better than Andor. No, guys, it's better than Andor, and it's better than The Dark Knight, Dune 2, Lord of the Rings, Matrix, Harry Potter. It's better than all those IPs. The Godfather. It's not better than The Godfather I even know, guys. It's better than The Godfather. Those movies may have some of them. They have richer rolling, richer speech, but the story's not as entertaining. It's not as powerful and deep. My story is very deep and powerful when you read it. It's a masterpiece, man. When you read it, right? It's a masterpiece. My book. Yeah. Yeah. Why will you go swimming today? Yeah, I will. I'll go at nighttime. Go swimming. I took like 2 days off straight, so I'll go swimming today, obviously. And tomorrow I get my other government check, my 100, like $20 check from the government. So I should have enough money until next Sunday when I get paid at Dinty's, right? Yeah. Did your boss send you? Yeah, my Dinty's boss sent me the employment record, but my Coco 40, my ex Coco 40 boss didn't send me the paper. So I'm waiting for that to come in. I have to do the online thing about employment. Welfare Quebec, and I can give my information to the welfare office. I should get my check maybe end of October. And this Thursday's Little Nightmares 3, guys. Rabbi's covering that game. I can't wait for that game. I'm gonna binge shit out of that. Little Nightmares 3, yeah, it's gonna be a sick game. Yeah. I do the best fantasy authors really have editors. Yeah, the ones who traditionally publish, even self-publishing authors have developmental editors polish up their manuscript because they want to have the best book possible. So if you have an editor work on your book, yeah, you wrote it, but it's not 100% your story because the editor did polish up your writing. Whereas Zane's, I can say, is 100% my DNA. Nobody helped me with my story because my story doesn't. I don't need any. I don't need my story doesn't need any polishing up. The only thing that might need a little bit of polishing up is maybe a few of my stiff dialogue. It's a bit raw, but I mean, I'd rather keep my bit of my rawness in there and have be 100% my book than have someone ruin my stories. I'm sorry. I don't want anyone ruining my stories. It's my baby. I don't want anyone ruining my story. There you go. It's a special story. I don't want anyone ruining that story. Yeah. Because Brian Sanderson, George R. R. Martin, and J.K. Rowling, and Steven Erikson, all those guys, they had help with their manuscript. They have the best editors in the business who polish up their writing. That's why their book is less raw than mine when you read it. But Ivan's book is still the more entertaining read because I have the heavenly gift on my hands. Yeah, I have the heavenly gift on the But I don't get it, man. Like I read these other books, they have richer dialogue than even your book, but the characters don't jump on the page the way your book does, Ivan. I get it, and it feels more dry. It doesn't feel like I know how you feel. Like, yeah, it doesn't feel like life hasn't breathed in the page the way your book does, Ivan. When I read your book, you're more of a simple writer and everything when you describe so, but like it's just more. I get a different feeling. It's just more entertaining. How you do it? I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, guys, I don't know. I just write and the characters jump on a page. I don't know how to do it, man. It's having to get that. I don't know how to do it, man. Ivan, man, that's a gift, man. You have. I don't know how to do it, man. Yeah, it's just a heavenly gift I have. I don't know how to do it, guys. Yeah. Yeah, when I read your book, it's like cinema on the page. I know the characters come alive on the page. It's just so entertaining. I'm hooked reading it. Yeah, I know. You're just hooked reading it, and you want to know more what happens. Honestly, that's why I show you Volume 3. I almost feel sorry for you because Volume 3 is when shit gets real, man. That's when the shit gets real. It gets dark. You read Volume 3. I almost feel sorry for you. Oh, I farted. That's gross. Yeah, give me a second. I was gonna go upstairs and get my coffee. Back in a sec. Oh, you guys enjoy this show. Oh. Oh, I forgot to open my window, guys. Well, I just get my coffee, guys. Yeah. Are you serious? Will any fantasy odds be able to beat Xanus? No. No, we will not be able to beat it. Why Ivan? Three reasons. First reason, it's very entertaining. It's so entertaining and obviously very entertaining. Second reason, no author kept the reader hooked the way Ivan did. And yeah, the first reason is that it's very entertaining and the characters jump on the page like no other book, obviously. And the second reason is no author kept the reader hooked the way Ivan did. And third, it's an unbeatable story. The story's so powerful, it's so deep. You can't get any deeper than that. You can't beat that. It's too deep. I set the stand. You can't beat last one. You just can't. It's an unbeatable story, guys. As you guys read, right? Too entertaining. It's too entertaining. The characters are amazing. They jump on the page left and right when you read the book, or while you're hooked turning the page for hours. And it's the greatest story ever told. You can't beat that story. It's too powerful, too deep. I'm not kidding around, guys. Just when you read the book, man, what's supposed to for you. Yeah. It's so good that like all these authors are gonna feel like shit when I release my book. I don't mean to be cocky, guys, and all the book nerds. Once I read my book, every other fantasy book that comes out is a bit of a letdown. Yeah, these books are good, but they're not Ivan's book, man. Like I just don't get the same feeling when I read these books. Yeah, you don't get the same feeling. Yeah, I don't get the same feeling when I read these books either. They just feel more dry and they're just not as entertaining. Once you read my book, you have that feeling. It's a letdown when you read all these upcoming fantasy authors' books. It's a letdown, obviously. Because those guys don't have the heavy gift like me, right? Don't hands, yeah. They don't have the heavy gift. There you go, don't hands, yeah. They don't have the heavy gift. They don't have the heavy gift, those guys, right? Yeah. They don't have the heavy gift. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, seriously, man, it's a fantasy story that can't be beat. Yeah, it can't be beat. You can't beat that, man. It's unbeatable. That's why I'm a genius, obviously. You'll see it when you look, yeah. Ivan's book is unbeatable. You can't beat that story. Yeah, it's too entertaining. No author hooked the reader the way they hooked me, and the characters come alive on the page left and right when you read it, yes. And the story is so powerful, so deep, you can't get any deeper than that, and you can't get any more. You can't beat that, man. You can't beat it, man. It's too powerful. It's too powerful, too deep, too powerful. You can't beat it. You can't, man. It's an unbeatable story. All these authors will be trying their best to beat my book, but they won't be able to beat it. They can't beat that. Yeah. Uh, so, when you say your book is higher quality than Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, what do you mean? I mean in terms of entertainment and in terms of story quality of story and entertainment, it's higher quality than those books. But those books are higher quality in terms of the in depthness of the world building, the in depth of the word building and the choice of words, the richness of the words is higher quality than my book. But in terms of entertainment and story, it's not higher quality. So there's context, obviously. My book, when you read it, is higher quality in terms of entertainment, and story and character work. My characters jump out on the page more than those books. They jump out left and right when you read it, as you guys read, right? They jump on the page. They feel more real. They come alive on the page, right? Yeah, that's my point right now. They jump out more on the page when you read it. That's why it's so entertaining, obviously. Yeah. Because I'm not kidding around. I go on Lord of the Rings Reddit, and a lot of those Lord of the Rings nerds, they post quotes from the book of Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings, by far, is higher quality in my book in terms of the richness of the speech, the language of the elves, the dialogue. It's much richer than my book, higher quality than my book, but like I don't get the same feeling when I read it. It still feels dry and a bit dry and a bit more dull. Whereas my book, I don't have as high quality of word choices and descriptions of the world building, but yet it's still more entertaining. And the characters come alive on the page. It's higher quality in that sense. That's what I'm saying. How do you do that? I don't know, man. It's a gift I have. Why you saying? Yeah, it's a gift I have. I don't know how you do it. It's a gift. It's a gift that I have, Sarah. Now I kind of want to write their unique though. When I buy my laptop, I get my first $1,000 check from the government. I might purchase a laptop. I'll go over volume 3, and I might write their unique. I don't know. You think their unique will be better than Xanus? Either be just as good, or it might not be as good, obviously, because it's romance. But I mean, you guys read the My BAI, and that's entertaining shit. Yeah, that's what I wrote that in class, guys. Yeah, with no brainstorming. When I wrote their unique, what I showed you guys their unique, I wrote that off the top of my head. Yeah, I wrote it while I was in class in college. I wrote it on my computer in college, obviously. I wrote like a good 2.5, 3 pages of it. I mean, that's a 6-year story. I know. I think it's sick. You're a genius. I know. I'm a creative genius. Is their unique easier to write than Xanus? Yes, it is, because it's modern time. It's in the modern times. It's not like fantasy. You have to create a fictional world and make it believable to the reader. Like Xanus, I have to create a fictional world: the North and the South, the Upper Lands and the Lower Lands. Obviously, fantasy is more difficult to write than romance. Romance might be the second most difficult to write because you have to be good at displaying emotion of love and all that stuff on the page. Obviously, because I have the gift, I can do that. But yeah, I don't think their unique will be as good as Xanus, but it'll be almost as good, or maybe just as good. I don't know if I write it right. How much chapters will you have in your book? I'll probably have maybe 13 chapters like Xanus, but they're gonna be very long, obviously. I already have like the story plan out of my head pretty much. They're unique, right? If I write it, yeah. Chapter 1 is what you guys read. Megan does Dawn's hair, and then Dawn goes to the grill house, and she has an interview with Louis, the manager. She gets the job, obviously, and she finds out that Megan owns the place. Then after that, it transfers to Josh working at a bar or at another bar, and then his best friend Jake works at another place. Obviously, then that like ends chapter 1, and chapter 2 is the beach party, and then Dawn and Megan celebrate. They go to the beach party. Josh and Jake go to the beach party, and that's when Megan meets Josh for the first time. Honestly, and saying? Yeah, and that's how the story starts. You're a genius. I know. I already have like the idea plan out in my head, obviously, because I'm a great genius, obviously. Yeah. If I were there, Nick, I'll make more money for me. I'll make like my 50 billion, 60 billion for me and BJ. But I mean, I'll think about it. But most likely not though, because writing a book is a lot of work. If I write there unique, I have to save another like $1,600 to get it proofread and design my cover for that, right? Obviously. And did you guys get a different feeling from my book than reading these other books? Yeah, we did. I even for their unique. Yeah, for their unique, the characters jump on page 2. What is it? You have another messy room in there? No, I'm saying, yeah, your characters for their unique jump on page 2. I know, I'm a genius. I had the creative gift. How you do it, man? I don't know. It's a gift I have, guys. I don't know how you do it, man. God gave me the gift. There you go. Don't you? Yeah, God gave me the gift. Yeah. Are you lying, man? Is your whole book entertaining like that? Yes, guys. It's constant entertainment. Some sections are not as entertaining as others, but they're still entertaining enough to keep you turn a page. As the scene when Cassius is about to leave the walls to look for Taki, that's not even close to one of those entertaining scenes. Yeah, you guys are still hooked. Yeah, we're hooked, Ivan. And right before that scene is the big climax scene of 20 years later. That's why my book is sick, obviously. The scene when Eritad's like, we're gonna go to the lands and kill the human, that's not really one of my big scenes in the book. Pretty big scene, but it's not one of my big scenes. The scene when Job is talking to Cornelius and Mary, that's one of my big entertaining scenes in that chapter, but there's other entertaining scenes I didn't show you. I almost spoiled story for you, some Sarah, yeah. That's why my book is sick. That's why Tactics of Clones, you can argue, is the best chapter of volume 2, because it's hardcore drama, man. But it's short. It's a short chapter. Or you can argue the Lithia chapter is the best one. When he's like, he misjudged my horse. Who is that? That would be Eli's daughter. She's beautiful. Every noble man would love to get their hands on her. Well, here it is, my Syrian friends. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the Lithia chapter. You can argue that chapter is the best one. Or you can argue Exodus of Sapphires. You must be Eli. Job, I take you out of horses taking care of. Yes, I will for Jedi. And what about tactics? Yes, nothing else funny, I'm saying. And you read the end of that chapter when he's like, feel no regret, leader, for wonder you shall behold the northern Xanus. You know what I'm saying? They're waiting for you, tactics. They're waiting for you to lead them. You know what I'm saying? You guys go to the front. Task, you go to the back. But Tack, we need to be at, no, Task, that's an order. I need you protecting these people, and I trust that you will. You know what I'm saying? I'm now sick, I'm saying. Yeah. You see Tactius, he talks to Cassius talks to Tactius in the front. He's like, cousin, you know what I'm saying? He's like Tactius, he's like, what is it, cousin? By the grace of God, I hope our trading was enough. I know, Cassius, I know. You know what I'm saying? That leads into, yeah, obviously the volume 3 one, I'll help you, so I'm almost closer for you. Like, when does stuff start getting dark? Well, when they enter the mountains, you have the mosquitoes, but the mosquito scene's not scary, right? And you have the scene after that, and they enter the cavern. That's when the horror shit happens. Obviously, you meet Ephesus, the king bat of the mountains. Obviously, I won't spoil surfing. That scene will blow your mind away. It's cinema, man, pure cinema. I won't spoil surfing. You'll say I'm gonna read my book. That's why Xanus will be the greatest fans ever written. Anyways, here's what guys. Who guys of the show? I'm signing off. Peace. Who guys of the show? My peace out, guys. Don't hang. Peace. Get my beard disposed. Enjoy showing you guys.